Bank of Korea making that decision as expected to raise its benchmark interest rate for the first time since 2011. Interest rates are now 1.5%. They were 1.25%. Our chief North Asia correspondent, Stephen Engle, is in Seoul for that central bank meeting, and we expect comments out of the governor of the Bank of Korea a bit later on. Stephen.
Yeah, that's right. Basically, this rate hike was baked in. So now the big question is, what is the guidance going to be? Is this going to be a dovish hike, meaning they're going to kind of jawbone expectations on the won down a little bit, because that's been one of the biggest concerns, if you want to call it that, up 11% year to date versus the dollar. So this could exacerbate that and keep on kind of hurting, if you will, the export-dependent economy of South Korea. But this rate hike, 25 basis points, up off that record low of 1.25% to 1.5%, is now a done thing. And again, we'll be seeing the guidance going forward. Many of the economists that Bloomberg has surveyed expect, about 2/3 of them surveyed said this tightening cycle, if you want to call it that now, will not have a lot of legs. It could end by about 2019, maybe 2 or 3 hikes at most coming in 2018. That's simply because GDP growth, yes, in the third quarter at the fastest pace since 2010, and I've talked about those won gains, but there's some other concerns, of course. Household debt is rising quite quickly, and there is seen to be a ceiling on the pace of growth in the economy, and also inflation not as high or running as fast as previous tightening cycles. Between 2005 and 2008, they raised 200 basis points over 3 years. The next cycle that ended in 2011, they raised about 150 basis points. So most economists not expecting that deep of tightening.
And Steve, you know, this is clearly an economy and a sort of policymakers that are used to having to operate within this realm of geopolitical risk and threat as well, isn't it? But, you know, you're on the streets of Seoul a day after this latest, and some say the most advanced missile test from North Korea of late. What's the mood that you're feeling?
Well, the mood on the streets, of course, is like every day. It's they've been living under this threat from North Korea for the better part of 6 decades. Of course, they are not facing the nuclear threat that they seem to be right now. But it's business as usual right now. It's obviously very cold, and people are bundled up going about their holiday shopping. It's not much of a dampening mood here. I talked to a couple of people yesterday. There were a few people gathered around the TV sets on the shopping streets looking at the KCNA, or the state broadcaster from North Korea, making those proclamations about becoming a state nuclear force. And there were a few chuckles and a few rolling of the eyebrows. But again, one person in particular spoke to me and said, I'm more worried about what Donald Trump is going to do.